All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're unpacking a seriously powerful blueprint for dealing with opposition, and we're pulling it from an ancient source, the biblical book of Nehemiah. Specifically, we're looking at chapters 4 and 6. We're calling this the Nehemiah Strategy.
So, let me just ask you this straight up. When you're all in on something important, something you know you have to get done, how do you handle it when people are actively trying to make you fail?
Well, we're going to break down this incredible case study on leadership and resilience from Nehemiah. It's basically a playbook for overcoming strategic attacks, and you're going to see, it's just as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago.
Okay, so here's the scene. Nehemiah is leading the charge to rebuild the destroyed walls of Jerusalem. I mean, this is a massive undertaking, a huge symbol of hope. But right out of the gate, they face their first big challenge. And it's not what you think. It's not a battle with swords. It's psychological warfare. The very first attack is all about words. It's mockery. In Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 2, this local big shot, Sanballat, just starts ridiculing them in public. He calls them feeble. He's basically laughing at them saying, "Are you kidding? You're going to build a wall out of a pile of burnt garbage?" And then his buddy, Tobiah, jumps in to pile on, which we see in the very next verse. He scoffs that their work is so pathetic, so flimsy, that a single fox, just a fox, could knock the whole thing over. You see what they're doing? They're trying to plant seeds of doubt and make the builders feel completely worthless. So, you've got this storm of insults raining down. How does Nehemiah handle it? Does he fire back? Does he get into a big public argument to defend his crew's honor? Nope. His response is way smarter than that. Nehemiah's first move is simply to refuse to play their game. He doesn't bite. He doesn't get drawn into the drama. Instead, as we see in Nehemiah 4 verses 4 and 5, he just turns it all over to God. He strategically sidesteps the whole psychological trap. And check out the result. Because their leader refused to get distracted, the people didn't get demoralized. Instead of listening to the haters, they got what Nehemiah chapter 4 verse 6 calls a mind to work. They just got more focused. They put their heads down and bam, the wall was halfway done in what seems like no time at all. Well, the opposition saw that mockery wasn't working, so they decided to up the ante. Big time. The game was about to change from insults to a very real, very physical threat. Now look at this. According to Nehemiah chapter 4, verses 7 and 8, it's not just two guys trash talking anymore. An entire alliance forms. Arabs, Ammonites, people from Ashdod, they all get together. And their plan? Launch a surprise attack on Jerusalem to create chaos and stop the building cold.
So how does Nehemiah respond to an actual conspiracy of violence? He uses this brilliant two-handed strategy. Nehemiah 4, verse 9 tells us exactly what he did. On one hand, faith. We prayed to our God. But on the other hand, he took practical action and set a guard as a protection against them day and night. He didn't just pray and hope for the best. He prayed and posted sentries. It's faith and works together.
Against all odds, the work keeps going. The wall is almost done. The gaps are closed. So the enemies, they shift tactics again. They realize force isn't working, so they try something sneakier, and honestly, maybe even more dangerous: distraction. In chapter 6, verses 1 and 2, the enemies send this seemingly innocent invitation. "Hey Nehemiah, come on down, let's meet, let's talk this out." It sounds so reasonable, right? But Nehemiah saw right through it. It wasn't a peace talk, it was a trap. A ploy to lure him away from the finish line and take him out.
And get this, they were persistent. Verse 4 says they sent him the exact same message 4 different times. They were trying to wear him down, hoping that he'd eventually think, okay, fine, I'll go, just to shut them up. It was a war of attrition. But Nehemiah's response from verse 3 is just legendary. It is a masterclass in focus. He says, "I am doing a great work, and I cannot come down." He immediately defines his mission as a great work, and in the same breath defines their invitation as a distraction. He basically asks, why on earth would I stop this important thing just to come down to you? Just bow, shut down. So when you look back at all this, the ridicule, the physical threats, the cunning distractions, you can actually boil down Nehemiah's entire approach into 3 core principles. It's a strategy we can all learn from. So here it is, the Nehemiah strategy distilled. Number 1, answer ridicule with focus. Don't get in the mud with mockers. Just pour all that energy into your mission. 2, meet threats with preparation. You pray for protection, but you also post a guard. You combine faith with practical, smart action. And 3, defeat distraction with resolve. Know your mission so well that you can immediately spot a diversion and say no with total conviction.
And that brings us to the final thought, the question for you. Nehemiah knew exactly what his great work was. So what about you? What is the great work in your life that is so important that it just cannot and will not be stopped?